Well, good morning and happy Monday. I'm glad you're tuning in for our reading activities for today. I'm going to try and get through this quickly. But what we're going to be working on today for Monday, April 27th, is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to read a passage that is titled A Little About Ants. It's a nonfiction passage, informational, and hopefully we can learn a little about ants. We're then going to look at answering questions 1 through 4 using that passage. We're going to review a new long vowel pattern, and then your activity to do with those words is to put those words in ABC order. So if you have the packet, you can grab it and follow along with me as I read through the passage. If you do not have the packet, all you need to do is read along on your screen with me and have a separate piece of paper that you can write the answers to the questions, and then you can take a picture of those questions and send it to me through Remind. And then your work is done for today for your reading. All right. So I'm going to get our passage ready to share. And I already went through and underlined the title and numbered all of the paragraphs in case any of my questions ask us to refer back to a certain paragraph. All right, so let's read A Little About Ants by Mimi Jorling. And I notice as I look at that picture, there's a caption underneath it that tells me that is a leaf cutting ant. There are lots of different kinds of ants: carpenter ants, leaf cutter ants, sweet ants, fire ants, and many more. They are different colors too. They can be red or brown or black. Some are very, very small, and some are rather big. Whatever their differences, though, all ants are social creatures. They live in large groups called colonies. Some ant colonies are big and have millions of ants. There are different types of ants in the colony, and they each have different jobs. The queen lays eggs. Soldier ants protect the queen and the colony. They also gather food and attack other colonies if they need new nesting space. Worker ants take care of babies, look for food, and build ant homes, ant hills, or mounds. Soldier and worker ants are female. Male ants' only job is to mate with the queen in order to produce eggs, which hatch into baby ants. Ants are busy little insects. It's easy to see them moving quickly here or there. Sometimes you can see them carrying a small piece of something or dragging part of a leaf somewhere. Sometimes you even see two ants helping each other carry the same crumb. But where are they going? And what are they doing? Ants may seem to be just running around, but they're actually important parts of the ecosystem. They're world under our feet. One thing ants do to help their ecosystem is to keep soil healthy. By constantly digging through the soil, they create spaces in it. Soil needs space inside it for air and water. Without air and water in the soil, the tiny creatures that live in soil would not survive. Ants also help bring nutrients to soil. When they bring food particles to their nests, they add nutrients to soil because they don't eat everything they bring. Their leftovers stay in the soil and break down into nutrients for other creatures living in the soil. I learned a few new things about ants. All right, so now let's go to our questions page. Now remember, if you don't have the packet, all you need to do is get a separate sheet of paper, write the title of the passage, then number, and write the letter of your answer choice. Okay, so number 1, according to the text, what are social creatures that live in large groups called colonies? So what creatures live in large groups called colonies, not quantities, sorry. A, ants, B, flies, C, grasshoppers, or D, beetles? Oh, there was only one creature that was being talked about in that passage. Number 2, what does the author describe in the first paragraph? Well, let's go back up to that first paragraph. And the first sentence tells us there are lots of different kinds of ants. And it went through and talked about the different kinds of ants, what colors they were, that they live in large groups, the different types of ants in a colony, and what their jobs are. So let's go back to question 2. So which answer choice best describes what the author is talking about in that first paragraph? Is the author telling us A, the importance of ants to our ecosystem? B, is that where the author is telling us the ways in which ants keep soil healthy? C, the food that ants bring to their nests? Or D, the different jobs done by ants in a colony? Which one of those is the author describing in the first paragraph? Number 3, ants are busy insects. What evidence in the text supports this conclusion? Well, if we remember, excuse me, evidence is what proves something or tells us more. So we want to know which answer choice is telling us more about ants being busy insects. Is it A, ants move quickly from one place to another? B, male ants' only job is to mate with the queen? C, some ants are very, very small and some are rather big? D, ants can be red or brown or black? Which one of those answer choices tells us a little bit more about ants being busy insects? And our final question for today, number 4. Read these sentences from the text. Ants may seem to be just running around, but they are actually important parts of their ecosystem, their world under our feet. One thing ants do to help their ecosystem is to keep soil healthy. By constantly digging through the soil, they create separate spaces in it. Based on this information, what can you conclude about where the ecosystem of an ant is? Remember, the ecosystem is where they live. So based on the information that we read, right here. What is the ecosystem of an ant? Is it A, the ecosystem of an ant is in the ocean? B, the ecosystem of an ant is in the air? C, the ecosystem of an ant is in the soil? D, the ecosystem of an ant is in the desert. Okay. So remember, you can go back and listen. You can pause. Just write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Take a picture of it and send it to me. Okay, so we got number 1 out of the way. Let's move down to number 2. And as I said, we're going to continue with our vowel patterns this week. And we know that vowel patterns are 2 or more letters that go together in a word and make one sound. So I'm going to share with you our word study list. If you have your packet, go ahead and grab it. If not, you can simply look at the one and share mine here on the screen. So here's our words this week. They all have a similar sound in them. Toy, boy, joy, coil, spoil, point, choice, voice, coin, join. So let's think about what sound do we hear in all of those words? I hear that one too, the oi sound. And I see that in the first word, oi is spelled with O-Y. So we have the letters O-Y making the oi sound. We also have, as in coil, the O-I is making that oi sound. All right. So if you have your word study packet, go through, read each one of these words. Highlight or underline the letters that are making that oi sound. If you don't have the packet, then you can write them, look at them here, and as you're writing them in ABC order, highlight or underline the letters that are making that oi sound. All right, guys, thanks for joining me for our reading activities for today. If you have questions, please be sure to bring them up in our Zoom meeting or message me on Remind, and I'll be happy to help you out. I'll see you tomorrow for rereading and answering our next set of questions.